Well, there wouldn't be any wicked crazy pinfalls if there weren't any technical difficulties, and one of our guests is going to have that for a little bit off and on. My buddy Sloan's coming on and stuff, so we are live. Welcome to Crazy Pinfalls podcast. What's up, guys? So let's talk about the elephant in the room. Why wasn't Throwback on last week? Well, there's a lot of stuff going on in my life that honestly and very candidly is literally out of my control. And part of me actually likes keeping stuff at fingertips length, and the stress of it and the unruly times of it is very difficult at best. Getting a promotion, certain positive things in life have happened, and a lot of negative things, majority of it have happened, but would I change anything different? No. It's just, like we were talking about 2 weeks ago when I was on, mental health's important. And for me, at least, it's extra important also. First things first, wanted to thank everybody on Twitter that follows the show, follows me and stuff, and getting over 1,000. That was very, very appreciative. Very gracious and happy about that. Try to keep building on everything and try to keep going as best as we can, and just see what happens from there. Still waiting on Sloan to come on and stuff like that and see how that works. But other than that, crazy couple of weeks we've had. Brian and Omega is going to be a really good match, but I kind of think it's better off waiting on that a little bit. So let's see if this works. Hold on. That might be a little better. Yeah, that's a lot better.
Oh, there we go. It's my brand new phone that I didn't have to pay for.
Really? And you're talking about not being able to pay for crap.
I always wait, dude. I'm cheap. The reason I have any money is because I'm cheap. So I waited until there was a good deal on an upgrade.
Yeah, and where everybody's talking about the iPhone and stuff like that. I'm actually looking forward to the Pixel. So that's me.
That's what I've had for the last, I think, 4 years. My old phone was a Pixel 2 XL. That's how long I've had it. Yeah. So I got the Moto 1 Ace, and it's pretty solid.
I'm getting the 6, just because. Well, it's me. We're talking about. You've known me for years. It's me. It's simple as that.
I wanted a Pixel, but they weren't doing any promos, and since I've got some inside info, I knew they weren't coming out with a solid promo anytime soon. So I was like, screw it, Moto's all right.
Well, I mean, for me at least, my upgrade's kicking in, and plus, I don't know with the chip shortage how everything is going to be. I know, Google is making their own chip anyways, but the problem is we don't know. Just like the Xbox, is that what's going to happen if they're going to run out of those chips as quick. So for me, as soon as over the rumor pre-order date, Verizon's basically posting is supposed to be posting soon is the 19th next month. I'm going to pre-order that thing right when I get it. So, but
I just refuse to pay for a phone. So.
You refuse to if it was a beer tab and you were drinking on it, you would refuse to pay for it, considering if somebody else could cover the tab. Let's be honest, my friend.
I'm not going to argue with that.
I mean, think about how many sodas you literally tried stuffing out of the freaking hawkers every time, man. Yes, me and Sloan go a long way back. It's been documented.
I wish I could have just, working those beer cards for all those summers. I wish I could have just, taken some of those.
Yes.
Grabbing like 10 cases of beer.
After you turn 21 and you're just like, want to become Barney. Yes, these are going to be old references. We're 80s and 90s kids. So, I know that my girlfriend's son's watching, so that will be very interesting. Omega and Brian, dude. Oh my God. So do you think that it should have been held out a little longer than doing it at Arthur Ashe, or do you want, because we have a friend that on this show that's going to be at Arthur Ashe, which is Big Money Drew, aka the Omega of Wicked Crazy right now. So do you think it's a little too early on that?
So I'll preface this with I haven't watched Dynamite yet. I plan on watching it, but of course I read about it. I'm not surprised that they're going down this road. I am a little disappointed though, because it's between what's going on between AEW and WWE and competition is awesome. Like, I want that, but I feel like even though they're saying, like, WWE says AEW is not competition, AEW says, oh, we're not worried about WWE, we're doing our own thing. They're both full of shit. Because the only reason you're pushing this narrative now is because you're trying to win those ratings wars. The only reason you're naming every single weekly show, you're trying to win ratings wars. I think that however you do Danielson and Omega, it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be awesome. But you could have dragged it out much more. I mean, there could have been, I'm not a writer, so I don't know, but there could have been a whole damn story to tell. And I know, and again, I didn't watch it, so I don't know if there was anything referencing it or anything like that. But like, jumping into this, where's Hangman fall? You've been like hinting at it. You've been putting him, keeping him in the limelight, keeping him in the conversation, and now it's kind of like, okay, where does he fall? Like, right now, it's like he's supposed to be the guy. So, and you kind of just jump in the line. And of all people, he should be able to jump the line, but it's like, it's just so fast. To me, it's too fast. It makes sense, but it's too fast.
For me, it's one of those things. Like I said, there's going to be a bunch of technical issues because of the clarity of phones and stuff. Literally, we get 8-bit Jim right now. The thing about it is, for me, more so with Omega and Bryan, I think that would be more suited for one of their key 4 pay-per-views, like kind of like Full Gear. Just because from now until Full Gear in November, there's a lot you could build up on, and it makes so much sense to do so. It's just if they did it right and build it up and give Paige and Arthur Ashe and then moved up the line and then have tease Bryan here and there, and then that way would have made it so much easier. But I think Arthur Ashe is going to be, like everybody says, and the distraction also said that it's their biggest venue that they're going to have a show. They're going to need to hit something with a home run, and Omega Bryan Danielson is pretty much it. I think they could go either way. They could have flipped it and put Omega and Punk in that spot, but it's just, it all depends on how they go. It's going to be interesting to see which way they sway on this, because how are you going to keep, Omega strong while keeping, Bryan strong also? That's the question I want to know.
So here's the thing, though. They're the type of character that can take a loss. It doesn't matter, because if they take a loss, they're either going to be wrestling someone who needs to be put over or who is already way over. So if you lose to someone who's already way over, I mean, it's going to happen. If you lose to someone you need put over, you're just gaining respect. So those are the types of guys that can lose. My initial thought when I first saw it was, okay, they're super nervous about COVID lockdown and losing fans again, and they want to rush this to get it in front of fans. And then I thought, this type of match that doesn't even need to have a belt. So why rush it? Like, you know what? If you, I keep bringing up Paige just because I like him and I want him to have the belt for a little while. Why not have Paige take Omega down, have Omega disappear for a couple months off TV, create that sense of we miss you, have him come back, and then build the match to Bryan. That doesn't need the belt. I'm not saying you shouldn't have it, but it is the type of match that does not need the belt. So I feel like they're rushing it. It's going to be awesome, but I think they're rushing it. I think there's money to be made elsewhere.
Yeah, you can basically pop every other individual into that situation. It'll better it, and especially with Cole too. I mean, yeah, they're not going to have Cole on with Omega for a while, but I mean, you could put Cole in that spot and it would be money anyways. It's just regardless on how it goes.
Yeah, and I think I read a couple places somewhere, and it really made sense when you think back, is Cole takes over and kicks Omega out when Omega loses the belt. And they're basically going to be like, Omega's got to drop the belt at some point. He needs a break. He's working hard. He's working with injuries. He's got to drop the belt. And when he drops the belt, he's no longer useful. So Cole takes over. Like, it just makes sense. But it's also the obvious choice in some cases. So it's kind of like, all right, I'm kind of curious what happens here. But I don't think Danielson's the right guy to take the belt off Omega. Obviously, he could, and it would be realistic. But I don't think he's the guy. I think it's a waste a waste of a transfer. I really think that title switch needs to put someone else on the map. Why use it for someone who's already on the map?
It has to have more meaning to it too, a little more bite to it, because eventually what will happen is it's going to be dried out and stuff. And for me, more so, it needs to have like that. And I'll say this because I said this in a chat. I said that it feels more so like AEW's WrestleMania main event match. It almost feels like Rock Austin kind of esque match where it's like you have these two people in their primes, literally the best at what they do, ready to go at it. Would you want to save it for like Full Gear or All Out or Double or Nothing? I mean, something where it has more bite and meaning to it.
Yeah, I mean, and as you were talking, two things popped into my head. One was I have my hockey jersey behind me and you're wearing one, so I want to go put it on. And two, you could, I mean, if you're going to do it and whether the belt transfers or not, they want to do it a second time, then that's the place to do it. I mean, that's just what it comes down to. So now I'm going to go put my jersey on.
Oh, God. Drew, why don't you come on, man? I know you're probably still at work or something, or when you get out of work, dude.
This is my.
Are you kidding, Worcester?
No. This is I am on the Wolf Pack. It's a local team here in Savannah. So that's my team this year. I was on the Axemen last year and we won the championship. So I got drafted by the Wolf Pack this year.
Oh boy. Well, at least I have the best one. I have the captain's jersey with my name on it, so that's good enough for me.
Yeah, no C here. Just the lowly second line defenseman here.
Yeah, Danielson Omega is non-title next week. I
didn't know that.
I know, but I mean, this guy, right? I'm in the distractions. Chad donates 15 subs on Twitch. Dude, this is awesome as hell too, and is very nice. Oh, Timmy's on. But
so if it's non-title, then I could see something shenanigans happening, or Danielson making him tap out, or making him tap out and the ref doesn't see it. Like some shenanigans are going to happen.
Just like the dirtiest heel on Wicked Crazy Pinfalls pops in. What's up, Tim? How you doing?
What's going on, guys? Hey, listen, I got an update for y'all. I got a brand new cell phone.
Everybody getting all these new phones, man. This
I'm on
new
my old
technology,
one.
man.
So I got to get.
I was like, you're on a brand new one, but it looks like you're still on the old one.
Look at it this way. I am on the old one. I am. I'm getting ready to. I'm slowly switching everything over from the new one, off of this one to the new one. So, but guys, I'm doing great. I'm feeling great. Doing awesome. I'm back in rehab. Back in rehab now.
Are they going to Amy Winehouse you and tell you to go?
Yeah. They actually did that before. Yeah.
Well, I mean, come on, man. It's fun to always have you on, anyways, and stuff. So hopefully, like, your rehab gets better and we can do this. Also, just announced, WWE has announced that Reigns and Lesnar are going to happen at Crown Jewel in October.
I hate Crown Jewel.
As I used to tell Sloan, with the whole freaking canal alligator suit, just hit me off the head with that thing, please. Just, yeah.
Wait a minute. Who's going to be at Crown Jewel again? Brock Lesnar and who?
It's Roman and Lesnar as the main event at Crown Jewel, October 21st.
Oh my god!
If you're doing it that soon, then Lesnar's not going to take the title. Like, I don't know. I'm curious to see how they're going to play the whole Heyman thing.
Well, I mean, it would be even more interesting to see, like, they're gonna people are joking around. Let's put Heyman on a stick match. Shark Tank.
They could. Well, time out. First of all, y'all know how big Heyman is. Heyman's a big dude. Okay? Who in the flying is wrong with that picture? Okay, be honest with you. This is just me fantasy booking. Whoever wins wins gets Paul Heyman. Plain and simple.
I think it's hard for me to picture who's going to win that match until the draft to see who they're going to move over to SmackDown. Because obviously with Big E's title change, which obviously we have to talk about, he's going to stay on Raw and Roman's going to stay on SmackDown. And then depending on who ends up on SmackDown is going to determine who's going to take the title off of Reigns. I don't know. I mean, I could see them putting it on Lesnar, but what's the point? You've built Roman so high. If you take the title off him,
I don't think they're gonna. No.
If you take it off him, though, then what you're doing is you're planting the seed to turn him face, which I think right now would be the wrong thing to do.
I'm just watching something. Gargano and Candice announced they're having a boy. Mm-hmm. That's just nuts. But it's going to be interesting to see what they do. I mean, where do you go
be honest
from
with you
there?
now,
Because
I don't.
I mean, where do you go from there? Just because with everything that Roman's doing, are you gonna just like take the title off and put Brock on there? It's a conundrum right there.
To be
if you
honest,
put the title on Brock, you go back to 2016 where we see him every 2-3 months.
That's true.
And we're gonna do that whole thing all over again. And it's like, what's the point? It's nothing against Brock. If he's gonna be there consistently for 6 months, put the title on him because the guy has money.
Okay.
But if he's gonna be there once every couple months, I'm not a big fan.
No, I'm sorry.
We got 8-bit digital right here.
So I'm 64-bit. He's 8-bit.
Yeah, I mean, why not? We got video game stuff going on.
No, to be honest.
I mean,
no. To be honest with y'all, let's just put it like this. I'm gonna put it out there. I don't think Brock Lesnar is gonna win. Sorry. Brock
doesn't
make no sense keeping the title hostage.
Well, Brock's definitely probably not going to win if they want to set up a huge match for Mania next year in Dallas. It doesn't make perfect sense. And speaking of a huge match for Mania, going to segue into the tournament for a second.
Oh, God.
I'm going to put this out. The winner of the distraction triple threat match. We've been holding off on this because our statistician, who's Tad Predictable, was working on it, and still because it's a triple threat. It's not as easy as it goes.
You talking about the one that I was in?
No, I'm talking about the triple threat match from the distraction, which is JJ,
the other one. Yeah.
Robert O'Neill, and Jeremy Lambert. Who do you guys think won that match out of the three?
Wasn't even paying attention.
I have no
Not
clue.
Gonna lie.
I have no clue.
With the second highest win percentage of being correct, JJ is the winner of the triple threat match, the distraction match, and is going on into the next round. And JJ, which is the interesting part, if I get this up right, will be facing Lewis because Tank bowed out of the tournament due to certain reasons, certain personal reasons, and I didn't want to go into that. So got JJ and Lewis in there going at it. So Sloan's already into the next round. That's going to be awesome. Who do you guys see coming out of the next rounds with these matches? Because we still have a couple of them coming out. I mean, Anakin and Ron Patel at War Games. Pluggo is we'll find out who he's facing at TLC against Jensen and JPJ. Maggie's going against the King of All Worlds at Survivor Series. And then one of the biggest matches on this whole docket so far that I think is going to be the steal of the tournament, Dennis Farrell versus Rob Wilkins is going to be at Bound for Glory next month. And then we got our Full Gear matchup. The match where that a couple of us are calling is Rock the Casbah is Teresa versus her husband. Sloan is going against the winner of Aaron and Mr. Glenn. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff to go. And then Crown Jewel in next month. Drew Nicholas versus Pat Mason. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
I think the most interesting one there is going to be the Bound for Glory one, because you got a lot of people coming up on that 90 days, and there's a lot of solid rumors coming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know, and it's going to be fun to watch too. I mean, at least for some parts of these matches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of TNA these days, or Impact, whatever they call themselves these days. And I've heard it's come a long way. I've heard they've, made some good changes, and I've read some good stuff. But I'll tell you right now, if some of these rumors come true, I'll start watching again.
I think more so with the whole Danielson aspect of it, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to TNA and does a couple of things here and there on that side of the card too. I mean, there's so much they could do. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So we're going to probably do a short show tonight just because, well, it's getting late and stuff, and it's the first one back since I took a week off, so I want to take it clean.
Well, we got to talk about Big E, though.
Yeah. I'm doing that right now. Big E being champion. It's just the right move at the right time. I thought more so that they could have pivoted off to like NXT, but it made perfect sense because Lashley is the perfect opponent for E, and now we just got to see the floodgates open up because of all this talent they're going to be calling up and stuff. So E versus Cross could be interesting. I wouldn't mind seeing E and Lee do something.
Well, their rumors are they're turning Lee heel. So I mean, that would be sweet to have those two big behemoths. Heel and face. Although, let's be honest, Big E was kind of heelish in that match, but nobody wants to say that. That cash-in was a bit heelish, but that's all right. It's Big E, so we'll allow it.
Yeah, and for me, it's going to be interesting to see what they do, because between now and Extreme Rules, which is next week, they have to either not have E on the card or build a match quick. Or they got Crown Jewel coming up at the end of October. And then I think there's another pay-per-view for them in between. So, I mean, it could be Night of Champions. It could be any other one pay-per-view in between, or Clash of Champions or whatever. But it's having E there is the right time, and especially with the New Day and stuff. But it could all change because we also have the draft in 2 weeks. So that should be an interesting to see if they're going to have the champions excluded or keep them as is.
This just popped into my head too, and I highly doubt it would happen because it's long-term storytelling, and WWE doesn't like to do that. But with Big E now going over to Raw, reunite SmackDown, keep the title on Reigns. You got the title on all the titles in the Bloodline. You get all the titles in the New Day, and then Survivor Series. That's the 3-on-3 or something like that. Like, that would be interesting to see, but that's just never going to happen.
It could happen. It could happen.
They could also set it up where like the New Day has the Raw tag titles, and they do something where it's like an all or nothing match, and that could be an interesting thing. But I don't think WWE is going to do that, especially with everything they're trying to build up, because I mean, let's be honest, the hottest promotion right now is AEW. So it's like,
it is.
It's like it's like the Monday Night Wars all over again, where they're trying to catch up and try to be at that level. It's not about the ratings. I guess their biggest competitor is Sleep, but still, it's just, you have to have something interesting to go with it.
Well, let me interject this, because I wanted to say, well, for years, WWE was like this, this big entity, right? And AEW is like this little itty bitty thing come rolling up. And if y'all remember correctly, in World War II, it said Japan said we're about to get ready to wake up
This
a
is gotta
sleepy
look.
giant, right? Eating what?
It's profound, but we're missing half of it.
Seriously. Well, y'all get where I'm coming from. Y'all know what I'm saying. Well, anyway,
Tim, you're awesome.
what it
You
is
gotta switch that phone.
AEW is this sleepy giant. It just woke up out of nowhere, and now all of a sudden, WWE's like,
Yeah, definitely gotta switch that phone.
Go to the
Yeah,
new phone, bro.
Anyway, y'all get the reference I'm coming from. All right.
Yeah,
I think there's room. There's so much talent out there, and there's so much room for all these guys.
I mean, eventually, all
Well,
AEW can't clamor every single talent. I mean, they already say they're going to get more people. It's just you don't want to do what WWE did a few years ago and overload the whole pool and stuff like that. I feel like I'm watching a Tetris game right now.
It did switch, but yeah, no, I was ecstatic to see. Back to Big E real quick. Like I was just ecstatic to see that happen. As soon as he threw that tweet out there, like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I was like, oh, they're switching the title. They're clearly trying to draw ratings. They wanted people to watch. And the last thing, as soon as Bobby hit that spear, I was like, false finish. There's no way. There's no way they're gonna have him catch in that way. They're just not possible. So when he won, that was just it was just awesome to see.
It's going to be an interesting thing, especially with everything else in the world going on too. I'm just excited that E finally carries the torch and finally gets to do it. So, like I said, it's going to be a short night just because of everything, just getting back in the swing of it and stuff. Other than that, NXT, oh my God. I wish I had a lighter right now.
I was surprised by the finish, and I liked the finish, but I was surprised because, well, I shouldn't say I was surprised pre the Steiner match, whatever they call him, Braun Breaker, whatever, Steiner's on there. Pre that match, I was like, LA Knight has to win because he fits the prototype of what Vince wants. He wants the 6 foot plus guys, 250 pounds. And the only guy over 6 feet tall in that match was LA Knight. And then, except when they brought the other guy, I can't think of his name off the top of my head now when they switched it up. But as soon as Braun Breaker, I don't like that name, destroyed LA Knight, I'm like, okay, something different's going on here. LA Knight's not winning that match. And then when they put the belt back on Ciampa, I was like, okay, I can live with that. He got Goldie back. I'm happy there.
Yeah, I'm happy that he's got Goldie anyways. I mean, it's just it needs to get more invested and better. It's just, And
apparently Sean ran the whole show.
Pretty much, yeah.
H is in the hospital recovering, and McMahon wasn't there. So apparently Michaels ran the show, which, I mean, it went pretty smooth. It went pretty well.
And that's a rare occasion.
Well, I mean, Sean is good at what he does regardless,
Yeah.
Yes, he is. He's one of the greatest.
Yeah. Throwback. Leave the memories alone. Throwback. Yeah, I know. I want to laugh at the people who were sure at Knight was going to win the title. He was a Vince type guy. Yeah, well, Knight eventually will get the title. It's just a matter of when.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
now I got
he's
that
the type of guy you want the title on.
This is why we need like Drew on, because Drew gets these songs stuck in my head randomly. That's what friends do. Sloan used to do that too.
Oh God.
We could. Oh no, there's stories there. There's a meat on the bone. We could do a whole show talking about past experiences, hanging out with each other.
Didn't we? Jeff and I used to get yelled at when we were supervising the Hawkers because we were blasting music in the Hawker station, and Brian would come in and be like, "What are you guys doing? Stop blasting music! Like nobody can hear us. Leave us alone!" Like,
yeah. I would make mixes and stuff, and all of a sudden Sloan would try to freaking pot them off to people and try to sell them, saying it was his. Trying to make $1 off of me doing it. He's like, dude, can you make me another one of those? And I'd be so naive to do it. He'd be like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, sure. How many you want? Oh, give me 10 of them, and I'll give you $1 for each one. There he is, selling them for $2, $3 more than what I did with it. And he's just like, oh, everybody's like, did you hear the CD that Jim made? What?
I'm still reselling stuff, so I guess it's just kind of.
Yeah.
Still got a couple eBay stores.
Oh my
Well,
God.
yeah.
But it's going to be interesting with NXT though. Braun Breaker. I mean, come on, man. These corny names brings you back all the way to like late 90s, early 90s names. Like,
yeah, I remember that. I remember them. Yep.
Like Yankum and all that stuff. Oh my God.
Well, Isaac Yankum was pretty badass. That was an interesting name. But like they were gonna Rex Steiner, I think was the original name, and to me that made sense. But now it's like they don't want to mention that he's a Steiner. They didn't even mention that he's like a second generation talent or whatever.
They didn't mention any of that stuff.
No.
And it's just, all these matches and stuff. Like, I think the best match that I was very interested in was the tag matches, and just in general. Like, those matches, Rich Holland was awesome, I thought. Pete Dunne was great in that fatal 4-way for the title. It basically came down to, like, do you prefer the old NXT compared to the new? And that's where it boils down to, right down the middle. It all depends on your preference. So,
well, to me, go ahead.
I was gonna say I didn't. I mean, I could see differences, but I was nervous that NXT 2.0 was gonna look like Monday Night Raw light, and it didn't. It still had the NXT vibe with a lot more colors.
It felt like more so FCW-ish kind of thing, where it was just kind of like that setup, but it's more acceptable now because of how much talent there is. So I mean, for me though, it just, it's great to see like these people finally getting a shot, but I'd rather have like certain people holding that title. Like, what are you going to do with Gargano's contract? What are you going to do with his wife's contract? Hell, what are you going to do with Ciampa's contract when it comes up? I mean, these are not prototypical Vince people. It's just, I'm glad that I'm selfishly happy for Ciampa having it, because obviously there is a Massachusetts connection with Ciampa. He used to wrestle in our backyard at Chaotic. So, I mean, that's kind of like, I'm happy seeing somebody who's that successful and works that hard to get to it. But it's just, I can't see. I prefer the old NXT, and I'm not talking about the last few months during this whole AEW, WWE kind of thing. I'm talking about the 1 hour shows like they do with the UK brand, and how gritty it is, how it felt. Like I was one of those people that wanted to go to Full Sail. I wanted to go see a show at Full Sail. Now, wherever they're taping this, as much as if I do, somebody suggested for my epilepsy to get certain prescription glasses and stuff, and I'll do that and try that, and maybe I'll try that and see how it goes. But I mean, it's just, it doesn't make any sense. Yes, listen to the dumb name, and the distraction jokes. Get it if you didn't get that. Yeah, it's just, for me though, I literally would miss that where you had like Joe and Finn going at it at the Tokyo Dome. That had reason. Owens and Sammy stuff. I want something like that kind of NXT. Is that me being nostalgic? Yes, but I want that, and I'm hoping for that for this one. It's just, I think, if it was originally kept the same, it would eventually evolve into what they have there.
Yeah, I want to see them build. I want to see them build development. Like, the whole point of NXT was to develop stars for the big shows, and NXT, justifiably so, started getting bigger than those shows at one point. And obviously that's not what Vince wants. It's not what Fox and USA want from their multi-billion-dollar contracts. Like, that's just not what they want. So I understand the concept of rebrand. There's a lot to do with it, of getting it back to it's a developmental territory. But then you can't sign guys who have made big names out of themselves, or girls, for 10 years in the indies that should be on the main show, and then expect them. And then if you're going to develop them to these stars and you bring them up to the show, don't put them in friggin' dominatrix gear and destroy their character on day one. Like, you know, or start burying them. Like, I mean, you've got these big names over the last 18 months that you brought up, and what have they done with them? I mean, Karrion Kross right now, all due respect, I know he's biting the bullet. It's a joke. Keith Lee, it was a joke. Nothing against them. It's the writing. It's the forcing them to take these losses, or forcing them into these crappy storylines. And it's like, these are guys that should be the face of your company right now, and you're basically treating them like crap. Like, they've paid their dues. You don't need to have them pay their dues again. Like, just use them as stars. Bring Lee back. You know, have Big E destroy Bobby Lashley, take Lashley off TV for a while, and have Keith Lee come back as a heel and just utterly destroy Big E. You know, not in a match, just out of nowhere, and then set them up for a big match. Like, tell a story. Stop with all this crap of destroying this great talent.
Speaking of Lashley, real quick, touch on Lesnar. Do you think they're going to actually pull that trigger at Survivor Series?
I don't know Survivor Series, but I think they need to pull that trigger soon.
With Brock being on different with them two being on different brands.
I'm surprised they wouldn't do it at like a Crown Jewel or something, but I understand why they're not. But I mean, I mean, you basically just said Reigns is keeping the title for another month and a half or whatever. Like, that's all you're telling us.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Well, yeah, I pretty much think they should do it in a. Well, if it was it Thatcher? Who was it that was in a pit? It was it Riddle and Thatcher in a pit a long time ago on NXT?
Yeah, it was Thatcher.
Okay, why don't they do that with Lesnar and Bobby Lashley? And
yeah, it would make more sense.
Well, wait a minute. Why don't we do this? Why don't we stick four people in there? Matt Riddle, fuck Goldberg, Bobby Lashley, and Brock Lesnar, and just stick them in there and just let them have at it.
Well, that would make no sense from a writing standpoint, but I get why you're saying it.
Yeah,
but the thing is but if you're gonna do Lashley and Lesnar, you got to get them out of the title picture. There's no need for a title anywhere near the two of them if you're gonna put them in a match.
Yeah, you really don't need to put a title on on both of them. Period.
No,
regardless.
No, really, no. But going back to with NXT, I remember one I loved. What was it? Nakamura and Damn Jet? It was Nakamura and it was Sam, and there was another one with Balor and Samoa Joe. So I like the original one. And Pac, better known as Neville, was in there. I like that version of NXT. I don't like today's. This is
Well, at least today it's not more than but we might as well, like I said, it's going to be a short show than normal just because got to get back in the swing of things. We've got two good guys here. Usually everybody's here, but, you know, life happens and stuff, you know. But everybody will be back anyways. It's going to be an interesting couple of weeks. We have some people coming in basically as guests trying to work on. But the draft, me and Rob Wilkins are going to be doing a live draft here on the 30th in 2 weeks, and that will be fun. And we're trying to hammer down the justifications on that. Other than that, like I said, it's a short show tonight. You know, not normally we go about another 20 minutes or so, but you know, after everything that's been going on, I've been getting really exhausted sometimes. But yo, Dirty Heel, tell them where they can find you.
Oh, thanks, buddy. Y'all can find me on Twitter. That's the Dirtiest Heel. You can also find me on Facebook I don't do Instagram because there's too much bad crap going on there. I don't even about that. On Facebook, I got the Diecast Collective. I'm doing features and features of the week, which unfortunately I am about to be moving soon. So I'm unfortunately got to pack some stuff up and I'm getting ready to move out where I'm living at now. I can't get into the details at the moment. I can tell y'all later on, but the Diecast Collective is a site y'all need to check out if you're in a diecast lover, and also you can check it out on Facebook or on Twitter as well because I post them up. I know Throwback saw a couple of times. He knows. But there is features of the week article coming out tomorrow, so stay tuned on that.
All right, bud. Sloan, tell them where they can find you.
Twitter at Sloanzilla5. And if you check that out, all my other links are on there for all my other stuff. Got a couple websites, a couple stores, a couple podcasts, so you'll find everything on there. If you don't, message me, I'll help you.
Yeah, and got to get me on very soon.
We took a little hiatus because my co-host had to go buy a house. Long story short, there's a whole bunch of details. So we're going to kick back up recording here soon. So as soon as I do, we'll touch base.
Yeah, and you know what we can do? We'll talk about it. I have one date in mind. Other than that, guys, even though it's a short show, just try to remember, if you're overstressed and stuff like that, we're always here to listen. It's always the best way to talk to somebody and everything. I know because recently in my life, I've been extremely overstressed and underwhelmed. To be honest, I've been symptomatic with certain things. So I'm trying to keep that in check. That's why I took last week off. But it's always good to have good friends like Drew. I've known Sloan for a long time, Tim, Anakin, Maggie and Ray and everybody. It's just, it's great to have all these people like Sean and Rob, especially Jeremy. All these people are great to talk to and stuff. And I want to appreciate that. Even if you guys are watching down the line, just do a good deed, pay it forward. Even if it's opening the door for someone to do something good. Just keep going and pushing. John, go to bed. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good night.
Later.